Big Online. Gavin Newsom, the crazy left-wing socialist commie governor of California, Captain Destructo himself, the man who has, and it's kind of hard to do more damage to California than it's been doing to itself over the last couple of decades, but Gavin Newsom definitely not helping, pouring gasoline on the fire, backing off or asking the Attorney General of California who filed the suit to back off. Newsom expresses concerns about the state antitrust lawsuit against Paramount. The governor has told people involved in the suit that blocking the $81 billion deal could harm Hollywood jobs and presses the Attorney General to find a resolution out of court. If you remember, in the last couple of weeks, Paramount and Warner Brothers basically agreed, yeah, go ahead, we'll go to trial with this. We're happy to do it. We will push the merger off a full year. There are questions as to whether or not, because Warner Brothers and Paramount agreed to this, that there would be another agreement to maybe suspend the ticking fee, although, as far as everybody knows, the ticking fee beginning on October 1st will still tick to the tune of about $7 million a day in additional cost to buy Warner Brothers out if the merger is not completed by then. It has cleared the United States Federal Trade Commission and the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC and the FTC. It has cleared the hurdles in the EU, the European Union, although I think there are some outstanding quirks that need to be dealt with in the UK, although I believe they may have already been in motion or have had an agreement to deal with them. But this lawsuit that popped up is the last thing that's sort of in the way. And let's see what the Wall Street Journal has to say. Newsom has expressed concern about the state's antitrust suit. In recent weeks, he told people involved that if the deal is blocked as a result of the suit, state employment would suffer, the people said. Newsom's office has encouraged Attorney General Rob Bonta's office, which has independent authority to file such suits, to find a resolution out of court. Now, what does he mean by this? That the state would lose employment? It's very simple. You can look at this one of, but both effectively are true. The industry needs more consolidation. Frankly, the industry has proven time and time again in the last 10 years, especially with the consolidation and loss of cable subscriptions that drive a lot of the massive ad revenues that drive most of the top-line revenues for these companies. Companies like Disney, companies like Paramount, like Warner Brothers, so on and so forth. Even Comcast, Universal, we could go on down the road. But the fact of the matter is that things are shifting and streaming is not growing fast enough in terms of revenue growth and in terms of OI or operating income or a measurability of profit to keep up with the losses from the broadband cable delivery side of things. Paramount and Warner Brothers merging, whether you like it or not, is more or less a financial necessity. They don't have the same kind of scale or broad-scoped bread and butter that companies like Comcast and Disney do. Disney has its parks and resorts, its cruise ships that generate tons of cash and tons of profit. You've got Comcast on the other side that still deals a lot. Its bread and butter, of course, is internet and broadband, right? And that's growing. It's not doing great, but it's keeping pace enough, at least on the television and media side, as it suffers. Those revenues on the other side still help out, even though, of course, as we've all seen recently, Comcast has announced that they are going to split again. We just saw Comcast do it in the last 12 months with Versant, which spun off things like MSNBC or PMSNBC or NBMS Now, whatever the hell it's called. Nobody watches it still. That's why they yeeted it, along with a few other cable networks. But you still have the Hollywood studios, the remainder of television, which, of course, the big one, of course, is NBC itself, the film and television studios, and, of course, Peacock, the streaming service. Comcast is now going to be splitting again, peeling that portion off with the theme parks. So film, television, streaming, and theme parks will now be NBC Universal, and Comcast will go back to being just Comcast with the broadband, the cable services, the internet and the cell phones, right? Paramount and Warner Brothers, all they are, the only thing Paramount and Warner Brothers are, film and television studios. That's it. There's no hotels. There's no theme parks. There's no, 50 million subscribers for cell phones, internet, and cable. They are simply film and television studios. They live and die by the box office and by advertising revenue on their own in-house cable channels. They're not a cable distributor like Comcast also is. They simply provide the programming and the content. Those kind of companies have to consolidate. The costs, especially in California, are too high. So again, going back to Newsom's comments here, the reality of this is that people are going to lose the jobs if they don't merge, because the industry is going to continue to just shrink to right size for, frankly, a very punitive economy that is the state of California, that loves to light itself on fire, almost no pun intended. The other side of it is that if they continue to block this merger, there has been rumor that David Ellison would have no problem, whether he gets Warner Brothers or not, taking Paramount and leaving the state of California, which, frankly, most of these film and television studios probably should do anyway. You can still have a lot. You can still have studios there. You can still have operations there. But as far as where you actually situate the incorporated entity itself, there's no reason for it to stay in California and continue to deal with as much bullshit as they have to continue to deal with. This is why film and television studios all the way up to Disney will outsource, or excuse me, not outsource, but they will ship a lot of their production mechanisms overseas. They will go to Canada, they will go to the UK, they will go here, they will go there, not only for the film tax credits, but for the much lower cost of production. You can fly entire casts and production crews out of the country and go film your TV show across the pond, and you get more tax credits, and it's cheaper. California has been doing nothing to solve that problem, and David Ellison may be the first one to rip the Band-Aid off and just say, piss off. So what Governor Newsom is trying to do right now, knowing that, of course, he wants to run for president in 2028, he is trying to soften what's going to happen to California under his leadership if this gets screwed up. If he was to lose one, if not two, major historic film and television studios, that would be another black eye for Gavin Newsom, and the man must have 100 eyes because he's got a lot of black eyes. But this one is not going to be pretty. Representatives of Gavin Newsom declined to comment. California led a coalition of 12 states in a lawsuit to block the $81 billion deal, and the suit alleges that the merger would hurt consumers and movie theaters by reducing competition, leading to higher prices, lower quality, and less content for film and television. Again, this is all theory and conjecture based on nothing. The commitment has been from David Ellison since day one to not only maintain the output of the two studios, but to try to increase it from 24 theatrical releases per year to 30, right? That is the goal. Not to go backwards, but to go forwards. And remember, again, these are two primary film and television studios. It's not Netflix. Netflix is the one that would have, if not straight off the bat, within a couple of years, would have utterly crap-canned theatrical releases for the entirety of Warner Brothers. They would have gone all direct to streaming, which is why, as much of a fan of the Netflix business model than I am, I was absolutely not a fan at all of Netflix taking over either of these companies, because that is exactly what would happen. And if not immediately, then on down the line. And a lot of these concerns were addressed both by the Federal Trade Commission oversight at the federal level in the United States, as well as were addressed by the regulatory scrutiny that Paramount and Warner Brothers underwent recently in the EU, the European Union, to go through this same clearance, to get over the same hurdle, okay? And this is part of the reason why Paramount's like, yeah, sure, I'll welcome the lawsuit, because we just went through this with the EU, and we allayed all of their fears. So at this point, what he's basically saying to all of these state attorneys general, which are, of course, all the deep blue idiotic states that you can think of, it's nothing more than a punitive legal action that they're taking because the Ellisons are politically aligned with Donald Trump, or so the story goes, right? That is all this boils down to. It's political persecution. That's all this is. And it's looking so bad for California right now. If they persist with this, the economic damage that can be done to the state itself simply by having a business like Paramount and or Warner Brothers decide to act in their own best interest and leave, the damage would be so dire that Gavin Newsom is tucking tail and begging Bonta to shut the lawsuit down. Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.